some of the main changes that we'll see is more of an emphasis on the vapor intrusion into commercial real estate buildings. So it's actually going to specifically state that in the Phase 1 ESA that vapor intrusion should be addressed explicitly.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Sure.
What is vapor intrusion?
Right. So when you think of the whole reason you're doing a Phase 1 to begin with is to make sure that the soil and basically ground down is clean, right? So everything is good to go. But there are a lot of the chemicals that can contaminate the soil and the groundwater beneath the property, can volatilize and come up into the airspace of a building. You breathe that. Some of these chemicals can cause cancer. So obviously it's a huge health concern. Now we've always focused in our industry on the contamination of the soil and groundwater, and by segue, really addressing vapor intrusion, because if there's anything in the soil or groundwater that is a VOC or a volatile organic compound, then it possibly could get into the airspace. But this standard is explicitly saying that even if the levels of soil or groundwater contamination are deemed acceptable, that doesn't necessarily mean that the vapor indoor air is still acceptable. So you have to look at the full picture, and this standard is forcing that issue and making it across the board standardized.
Okay, now is it just standardization, or is this requiring more work on your part and more money on the part of the buyers?
Yeah, so that is certainly a concern. I think some of the things that will come into play with this is that it's going to take more time possibly to do a Phase 1 because you're going to need to review all the different records from all the different regulatory agencies, and that's something that holds up our reports a lot. So it's going to take more time and therefore possibly more money as well, because if it takes more time for us to review all those records, then it can cost more money as well.
Okay, so one part of you is going, oh gee, and the other part of you is going, don't take a look at my face.
Well,
I know.
Actually, that's a great point to bring up, because I think, and I have a lot of discussion with a lot of peers in my industry from other firms. We have the ASTM committee that a lot of my peers are involved in, so we discuss these issues. And our standpoint, and I would argue that the standpoint of all qualified consultants has always been that we've always considered vapor intrusion as a pathway. So now it's just leveling the playing field for the consultants that were not doing that, and maybe offering a service at a lower fee that wasn't necessarily industry standard, but they really weren't doing as thorough of a job.
That was a great answer.